most people are caught in a perpetual trap of trying to prove to people that they're living a life.
Tickling goes from fun to the worst thing that's ever happened in the blink of an eye.
I think what's missing is like, I actually don't even know what you want from me.
I'm in it and I love this person and they're treating me this way. So how bad is it?
And I was so unreasonably mad at this woman for describing it as spicy.
Oftentimes, it's a lot more helpful for everyone involved for you to just say the true thing.
Okay. Hi. Welcome back. I'm keeping that intro. I'm introing with okay.
It's
Okay,
appropriate.
hi. This is the podcast. You made it here. It's a podcast hosted by a hater, me, and a lover, Jess.
Hello.
And that's her noise.
That's me. I'm
What would
here.
be your on-brand noise? It can't be like a real word or in the dictionary. Just what's like your Jess noise?
I make so many noises, actually. I've been called out by friends and family and loved ones, lovers of making noises just like throughout the day. So I don't know if
You mean like
I'm
if you're
trying.
not in conversation, you're just making noises, you mean?
Yeah, like I'll never forget one of the first times, what a weird way to open this. I went on a like girls' weekend with three friends, and only one of them was like a best friend, my best friend Kai, and the other two I didn't know super well. They were her friends from other things. And we stayed in a cabin and I shared a bed with who is now my closer friend Corey, but it was the first time that we had been so intimate together. And we shared a bed and she was just like marveling at the noises that I made as I got ready for bed. Like just setting myself up in the covers and getting comfortable and being like, "Mhm, mm." Like I don't even know what they were. I just know that I make those noises. Ryan has
They're kind of like
since
little moans
noted
or
them
grunts or
too.
sighs.
Yeah, they're just little grunts, like just expressing to the universe that, like, hey, I'm working hard over here. I'm working hard to get cozy in bed. Like, pay attention to me.
That is funny. Okay.
I think I
Little
get it from my
squirrel.
dad. He's such
A
a
little squirrel
grunter.
nesting. Oh, okay,
Yeah, I'm a
okay.
squirrel. Those are my sounds. A rebellious squirrel going like, okay, I'm ready for bed. Yeah. What are your sounds? La la
Um,
la.
yeah, I think I do more. This is what I thought you were gonna say. I
Mm.
think I do. I don't know if this sound. I feel like this is probably more annoying, but I will just make like nonsense sounds of like dee 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 dee. Like,
You do the
I
singing.
mean, like a senile grandparent. Yeah, it's not even singing. It's just like, like I don't know, just like
Yeah, like a singing
a
mumble to
sound.
yourself.
Yeah, like a soundtrack. I think they're like sound effects. I think I'm doing sound
Okay.
effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if your life was a movie and it's like this is the part where they go like, well, the
Bling!
easy one is like ba ba ba, but like yeah,
Yeah.
bling. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I don't know that I like it, but it happens.
Everybody
Yeah, I think
has
it's
them.
annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah. I have a segment for
do
us.
it. Do the segment. We're off to
Okay.
a chaotic start, so just get us into a segment, please.
So this is a segment I call again, the branding is really good here. Um This is a segment I call places or settings that if you film there, I get to kill you. So I'll
Great
give you some
naming.
examples. Thank you. I'll give you some examples. Um, Fireworks.
Oh my
If
God,
you
yeah.
if you're taking a video of a firework, I get to kill you.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst. Nobody wants to see it. If you want
Nobody
to
wants to
keep it
see
for
that.
yourself, I guess that's one thing, but
Are
do
you
not post
looking
it
at it?
anywhere.
Are you genuinely telling me that you're looking at that grainy shot in the night?
Totally. That's the problem.
Horrible.
You're not going to
It
look at
does
it, but
captures nothing.
your phone storage is none of my business. Just don't post
Well,
it on
sure,
social media
but
and don't text it
no,
to me.
No, no, no. It's still my business. I still get to kill them for their lack of knowing themselves enough to
Yeah.
know that, like, I actually don't know if what's worse. I don't know if it's worse that if you send this video, because sometimes people do send the video, and I'm like, no one wants to watch this. No one gives a shit. Anyone you're sending the video to was also watching fireworks and
Hmm.
doesn't, elsewhere, and doesn't need your grainy 3 clip horrible audio footage of like 1.5 that you caught on screen.
Right.
I also saw fireworks, and mine was in HD because it wasn't a video; it was in person. So if you're sending it, horrible. If you're just keeping it for yourself, I know you're not watching it later.
That's
So
the weird
also
thing.
horrible. I gotta kill
Yeah.
you. I've decided.
Okay,
Okay,
what are the other
next,
settings?
um, museums.
Okay, that's interesting.
No, I'm correct.
I
What are you
agree.
doing? What are you
Oh, I
doing with that
agree.
video? What are
Well,
you doing
again,
with that
I'm
video?
never in a museum, so I didn't even realize I had to think
Let me tell
about
you what the
like
people
what
are
are
doing in
people
there.
taking
Let me
pictures
tell you what
of?
people are doing in there. They are taking pictures of pieces of art to do what with?
Right.
You gonna go home and touch yourself to that at home? You can't don't send it to anybody because they can get an actually proper, like, color
On Google,
adjusted, well lit photo on Google. What are you doing with that photo or video?
you're deleting it 2 days later when you
Totally.
realize that it's taking up your phone storage. I'm on a
Yes. And
phone
then I get to
storage
kill
kick right
you.
now, so I'm
Yeah.
just gonna make everything about that. But yeah, I would
Total
agree.
waste.
This sounds crazy. It sounds like
Oh, it's like
I think
most of
people
them.
just
It's
don't know
most
what to
people.
do with their hands a
Yeah,
lot of the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
You
And
know
they
what I
also,
mean?
most people are caught in a perpetual trap of trying to prove to people that they're living a life.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "Oh,
Just start
I
living it.
gotta have evidence that I saw these fireworks and that I went to this museum." Like, what do people do when they're here? I came here because I heard it's a thing, and now
Yeah,
I'm gonna take pictures because I guess that's what people do here, and I need to be able to have proof. I really think that's a subconscious
yeah,
process that happens.
yeah.
Okay, go on. Are there more? I'm sure there's tons
Yes,
more.
totally. Of course, there's more. I want you to add to the list too. I'll say this one's on the fence. Concerts. I think you are allowed to take one single 10-second clip at a concert.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I know what you're about to say.
I go back and watch my footage on my phone of John Mayer concerts. And yes, I've been to 12 of them. And yes, I
Okay.
will go back and watch the footage just to feel something again.
Okay,
You
she's an
know what I mean?
enigma. She's an exception. She's an exception.
Though there's a use for those for me.
Okay,
I
then
might
that's
even be
fine.
touching myself to them. That
I know
going
that
back to
you
your
are.
previous point.
I know
Yeah,
that you are, especially if it's Beyonce. I know you're touching yourself.
100%. But I
Okay,
agree,
so
there's a
I don't think
limit.
most people are
There's a
doing
limit.
that.
There's still a limit, I think.
No, not for you. It doesn't sound like there is. I think most people are like filming the whole concert and it goes nowhere, or they post like 40 videos to their Instagram. It's like, okay, put one video.
That's yeah.
40?
This is what my point of view on this segment is like for you I understand what the segment is and I'm with it.
Yeah. Okay.
However, the point that I actually like get activated and care is
Okay.
when it's something that I'm forced to look at when I'm clicking through stories.
Okay, tell
So,
me. So you start your segment. Tell me your segment of things you don't want to be forced to look at.
I don't
It sounds
want
like,
think these are
yeah.
the things I don't want to be forced to look at on your
Okay.
stories.
This is a different
Everything that
segment, but I love
Caroline has
it.
already said,
Yeah, totally. Great.
fireworks, museum
I'm so
photos,
right. I'm so
concert
right.
footage.
Yes, I'm nasty.
I would add if you're posting gym selfies like constantly, then I'm over it. If but there are exceptions. If you're literally like if it's your job, you're a trainer, that makes sense. Or if you're posting your highlights because you just like achieve something big, I do that. I can't shade you. But if you're just posting the same picture every day at the gym to be like, look,
Yeah.
I went to the gym and I'm buff, like I'm bored of you.
I do wonder what if it's not a transformation and they're not an influencer and it's not like an occasional thirst trap. I do wonder because sometimes it is just the same photo over and over.
Yeah.
And I wonder what they think the message is. Like, I'm still alive. Like, what is the message? It's not a transformation. They're not
I
like a
think
gym, like, career person. Like, what is the message? I'm not opposed to it because personally, I would say 99% of Instagram stories are a complete waste of my time.
yeah, true that.
feel like it's your right to waste my time in some way. I'm on Instagram, I
I don't
guess.
know.
But
I feel like I work hard at my Instagram stories and I know
same,
some other
girl.
people who do, you do,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah,
everything else is just
but
filler that you're clicking through.
Jessica,
You're right.
Jessica,
You're
Jessica,
right.
we need the people who aren't good at Instagram stories so that ours can stand out. We need those people.
Okay. I guess that's true. I don't have a
They're part
problem
of
with,
the content economy.
yeah, I just don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of
Okay.
another example other than the gym thing. There's going to be a lot of exceptions to any of these, but
Okay, I'm gonna stop pushing back on your I just need to let you have your hates. I don't know what got into me. I need to let you have your hates.
thank you. Honestly, I feel like when we started this podcast, I was the lover and I was scared to say I hated anything in public. And I've been
Yeah.
a lot more open with my hates, and I'm not ready to get pushback on that. This is a new thing for me. It's a new step to say that I hate things that people are posting.
I think you've always been a hater.
Oh, totally. But I've been scared to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think what's fun to me is that the things that you hate, I usually don't.
Yeah, I think that is fun.
I'm usually like, that's too far.
And honestly, same to you, because that's what I've noticed about this
Yeah.
segment is like you are mad at people for taking these pictures and it lives on their phone. And to me, I'm like, that doesn't affect me. So I'm not mad until they get out into the public sphere. But
Yeah.
we agree that these are useless photos. It's just like, at what point
Yeah.
in the life cycle of these photos does each of us get mad? And
I
I feel
think
like
you know
that's a
what it
lot of
is.
these topics for us. What?
I think something that makes me judgmental is people who don't know themselves. I think that's like
Yeah.
I think that is a pitfall for me. Where I'm like, you don't even know that you're never going to use this video. Like you don't know that every single of these 100 videos I watch you take at this museum because you're walking the path with me the whole time. You don't even know that you didn't figure out after the 40th one that you are not going to look at these videos.
Right.
That makes me mad for some reason.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, okay, I'm gonna put on my like analytical hat. Is that okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna
I'm
push
also gonna
back a little.
I'm gonna keep listening to you in my AirPods, but I need to fix my contact. So I'm listening.
Oh,
Keep talking.
sure. Okay.
Okay.
Um, I feel like what you're saying is based on an assumption that the reason these people are taking the photos is because they think they're gonna look back at it later, which is a fair assumption because that is what I think one of the main purposes of
My
photos is.
I will say my assumption is that they're taking the photo assuming it will be used for something.
For something. Yeah.
For
And
something.
I feel like I'm extending a little more grace to these people because I also know I've been one of these people. And when I put myself into like Jess walking through a museum taking a picture of one of the art pieces, she actually knows, because I know myself really well. I actually know that I'm going to be deleting that photo later, but I'm taking it now because of what I said of like, I don't know what to do with my hands. It's the same thing at a party when people just want to hold a cup. And it's
Yeah.
the reason that
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
what to do with my
people,
hands. That's so funny.
it's the reason a lot of people overdrink and they're like, because I was at a party and I needed something to hold. Like I feel awkward if I'm not holding a cup. And then it's
Y'all,
like,
you can
okay,
put water
obviously
in it,
just
by
put
the
water
way.
in it.
Yeah.
Yes. But that is a thing that can like
Yeah.
cause, or not cause, but contribute to like that sort of problem. Anyway, I think it's similar. It's like I'm at a museum. I've been on the record that I find museums boring. If I'm ever at one, it's because somebody else wanted to go and I'm kind of like the person that got dragged along. And what is something that I personally enjoy doing? I like taking photos, documenting my life. I like posting things on social media, and I like my phone more than I like museums. So I will walk around and like take pictures of shit because I'm bored and I want something to do. And I actually do know that I'm going to delete them later. Or
So
maybe
you're
one of them I can find like a funny caption for and post it
yeah.
on my story, you
So
know?
you're taking photos because you were forced into a place that you don't want to be and you're making the best of it. Love it.
Yes,
Optimist,
yes.
resourceful,
Thank
resilient.
you.
But for everybody else, I'm like, but you've also made the decision to stop going to places that you don't enjoy. So all the hundreds of hordes of crowds of people every single fucking time I go to a museum who are like, why haven't they figured that out too? They weren't, were they all
Yeah.
dragged there? Okay, I'm moving on. I've talked about this enough, but give me the rest of the things you don't want to see on Instagram.
Oh, I don't even know. It would take me a minute to think about what that list is. What do I
Okay,
get really annoyed about?
a picture of my dog.
No, I love dog pictures and they can always
Okay.
be on Instagram. Yeah.
A picture of my hair.
Mm, if it's like fresh from a cut and you're like, check it out, I just did that. I support. I like hyping people up
What
on
if I'm just
Instagram.
like, what if I'm just like, oh, my hair is so frizzy, and then like a little rant about like something I don't like about it.
If it's funny, I'm good.
Okay.
You know?
It usually isn't.
Content needs to be Instagram content for me needs to be funny, number one. Like that's if it's funny, then you can put whatever you want out there.
I think that's true in life, basically. If you're
Yeah.
funny, you can like, if you can like kill someone in a funny way, people would be like, come on,
Yeah.
is it that bad? Yeah.
I think I think that that is a rule of life. I listened to this podcast called Las Culturistas with
Mm-hmm.
Bowen Yang
Bowen
and Matt.
Yang.
Well, I can't remember his last name. Anyway, great podcast. And their whole thing is that they're like talking about culture and the rules of culture. And so whenever they say something that feels like a pivotal statement that is like a statement about culture, they'll be like, rule of culture number 473. You can
Mm-hmm.
kill anyone as long as it's funny, or whatever you just said. Like when you said that, it
Yeah,
made me think it's a rule of culture.
I think it
Um,
is.
yeah, so I think stories need to be funny. I think they can be mm, they can be personal, sharing your dog, sharing something about your day, sharing something you care about, but there's a limit. Like I'm probably going to click out at some point if it's too self-indulgent. You know, there's a fine line.
Yeah.
You can turn self-indulgence into comedy. That's like actually I would say what my brand is on Instagram stories is like things that would be self-indulgent but trying to make it a joke. Um so that I get to do both. I get to like show off my hair and I get to make a joke. So I think there's a way to do it all, but yeah, it's very, I don't know. I'll get this list going and I'll come back to it later, I think. But the gym selfies
Okay,
that
great.
are self-indulgent every single day, I'm bored. I don't want it.
I think my heart just goes out to those people that they're like, I'm like, oh, I guess you need this, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I have felt in the past, like, to some degree, posting that stuff online helps me stay motivated and accountable. So there's something there. But I just think you can tell the difference between somebody who's doing it for those reasons and somebody who's just like
Yeah.
wanting some fire emojis in their DMs.
I guess I just feel like that's all of us. Like, why are we even posting anything?
If not for the fire emojis.
If
Yeah, you're
not for
right.
like some validation. Okay, but don't worry because I have more
Oh,
complaints.
okay.
Okay, topic pivot. I was just thinking about how weird it is, or I don't even know if anyone's ever fucking ever done this, how weird it would be for, men are always like naming their sons after them. It's like John Pennington the third, la 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 la. And that's like, oh yeah, they're all just called John, and we have to say Big John and Little John because they're all called John the family, and like it's cute and it's reverent and it respects the history and like la la. How fucking weird it would feel if all these moms just started naming their daughters exactly after them. If I like had a baby and like made my baby announcement and I was like, and we named her Caroline, everyone would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know which way I want to move in. I don't know what my call to action is here, but I think either more women should start naming their babies after them, or we should crack down more on men naming their babies after them.
Yeah.
Because one
Totally
can't be
agree.
normal and the other can't be weird.
Totally agree. I mean, it's a remnant of the patriarchy, which is still alive and well, but like it's a very outdated thing, but it still happens. And I feel like I've always thought it was weird. Uh but just been like, okay, I guess that's just what happens. But I agree with you when you flip the script, which is something that works for like everything in patriarchy. When you flip the script and say like, what if a woman did that? It gets weird. And that's because
Like
it's like
if
so
yeah,
ingrained
if
and we need
I
it to
had
stop.
yeah, like can you imagine my baby post if I'm like, oh my God, so excited to welcome a healthy
Caroline the
eight
second.
pound, 2 ounces baby, Caroline Winkler. Over yourself. Get the fuck over yourself. Are you fucking
Society
kidding me?
doesn't
Of
want
all the
women to
names,
be obsessed with themselves like that, but they are okay with men being obsessed with themselves like that. It's a
it's
big
like of
problem.
all the names in the world, you were like the only name I like is my exact own name. And they'll do the middle name too sometimes. I was just like Caroline Angelica Winkler. We
That
love
the
her
full
so much.
name.
We already love you so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
They love
crazy.
her so much because
They
it's
love her
you.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no
That's my
notes. I
complaint.
totally agree. I
Yeah.
guess I'm trying to decide in my head what I prefer. Should women do this more or should men do this less? I feel like men should do it less
I just think it's weird. It's like there's so many names.
because it's we yeah, because I never liked it and
I
I
mean, I
would
guess I
rather
don't really
get rid of the
care.
whole concept as opposed to have more people do that. And then eventually society becomes so homogenous that we only have like two names. We have
Yeah,
Johns and
everyone's just
Carolines.
John
Yeah.
Pennington. Oh, I do think it's fun. I mean, I guess it doesn't really bother me when I see somebody do that, but I don't know why I just thought the other day of like how weird it would be to name just to see a woman do it and like you'd be like, the fuck is wrong with you?
100%. 100%.
Anyway,
There's a
that's
lot
all.
of weird rituals around having babies. Like there's this
Yeah,
comedian
for
Nick
sure.
Thune who has this bit about um and his delivery is crazy, so it's not going to be as funny when I say it, but I would recommend YouTubing it. Nick Thune. He has this bit about people posting their babies on Instagram like in the days following the birth and like announcing we welcomed Caroline Angelica Winkler into this world. And he's reading it and being like, what's the weight? Give me the weight. It's like 7 pounds, 6 ounces.
Yeah,
And he's like,
why do we need to
yes,
know their
good, healthy
weight?
baby. And then it's like,
Why do
what
we need to know
time?
their
What
weight?
time?
What time?
Like just the ritual of posting like the name, the weight, the time, the day,
Yeah,
it's like your broader following on Instagram doesn't need to know those details. Actually,
that
your
is so
family doesn't even
funny.
really need to know those details. Like,
I
it's
guess it's like,
okay.
what else? I guess maybe that is so funny. Tell me their weight. And like, at what age do you stop posting their weight? Because you're not like, happy fifth birthday, 28.5 pounds.
Yes. Yes, exactly. You only do it at the birth and then maybe, and then obviously
Weird. What
a
about the
very,
girth? Give me the diameter of your
give me the
baby. How many inches
diameter.
across?
There's
Actually, what I would be
also,
so much more interested in is the diameter of their head so that I can actually picture more of your experience birthing them. I don't necessarily
wow,
care
that's
about the weight.
interesting.
I would like to know the density of mass. Like,
Do you
was it
think
like,
that
was it
that's
long and narrow or was it like thick?
Do you think that that's what the weight came from? Like,
No,
is this microfeminism
no, it's
of
not, Jessica.
celebrating a
No.
woman's
Let me
ability to
answer that for
push that
you.
out of her?
No, it never is that. I think they're just like, is it, that's like the way that, it's like the shorthand for like, was it healthy?
Was it healthy? Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
I
is
guess.
nobody posting the weight if they had like a preemie, really small baby? Like, those parents are not posting the weight.
I think they are though. I think they're like, we had a preemie in like, please pray, 4 pounds. La, 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 la,
Yeah, maybe. Interesting. The weight, I just don't need the weight. That's a
la.
thing. That goes back to our
It's
segment.
so
That's
funny.
a thing
The
I don't need to
weight.
see on Instagram is the weight of a
Uh,
baby. I'll
I guess
text
in a
you if I
way,
want to know the weight
in a way,
for
it's
research.
also like it feels kind of like uh what's the ableist bragging? It's like, well, what if you gave birth to
Mm.
like a baby who's not healthy and is like, oh, has all of her eyes and toes? Like, what if your baby doesn't have one of their
Yeah,
eyes? And then you're like not allowed to post.
that's what I was getting at
Yeah.
with the small babies. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It
Yeah.
creates,
Yeah.
yeah, we're mad.
Yeah. More complaints.
Yeah.
More complaints. I have more. Do you want more?
Yeah,
What
keep
do you want
going.
to
This is an
hear?
episode of complaints. I'm ready.
I
Now I'm fired up. At the beginning, I was a little sleepy and I couldn't get on your level, but I'm here.
have so many horrible things to say. Okay. I don't know if this is a complaint. This is just a personal failure. Okay. You have to tell me if you relate to this. This
Hmm.
is personal failure.
Self-awareness is key.
And I'm going to say that this relates back to the problem of all these men just naming their sons after themselves somehow.
Okay.
So, okay, let me paint a picture. You're going to text your girlfriend, and maybe you're making plans with them and their male partner, their boyfriend, their husband, their steady hookup, their consistent side
Wait,
piece,
wait. Who
whatever.
are you? You are
Me.
you,
I'm me.
and
I'm
you're texting
me.
your friend who's a girl.
I'm texting my
Okay,
girlfriend
got it.
or whoever. I guess it could be a guy friend, but I'm basically referencing their male significant other.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, hey, Jessica, are you and blah, blah, blah ready for dinner? Blah, blah, blah. And I need to almost never. I can remember almost none of the names of my friends, boyfriends, or husbands because A, they're all the
They're
same.
all John.
They're all Jake. They're all Jake. Let me just name to you the names of the people
We love Jake on this
loved by
podcast.
the people I love.
Yeah,
Jake, let me think of all my girlfriends. The significant others are Jake, Jonah, Josh, Justin.
you're kidding.
Um, no, I'm not kidding at all. These are all my like closest friends. We
That's
got
fucking crazy.
Ryan,
There's three
um,
Ryans.
three Ryans,
Fuck.
uh,
I thought
a
I was doing
hundred
well with the
Jakes,
R.
and I cannot fucking keep straight who is who. And so anytime I go to text someone, it is like, it doesn't matter if it's like my best friend. Essentially, I have to like search our text history to confirm
Oh my
I'm
God.
saying the right name. This, and I know this is a shared problem. My friend Alex, I'll always, I think so many times missaid Justin's name as Jake that at a certain point she was like, I'm just going to call him Jake now and we're going to accept that. And it was like a
Hmm.
funny hee hee ha ha. And then some time passed and I forgot that she had said that. And I just was like, oh, she really thinks his name is Jake. I forgot she'd made this joke. And then I was like, I guess I'm just gonna let her call him that. Like, I don't need to correct her. It doesn't really mean anything to me. You could call him Jake. And then I spent like months thinking she thought his name was Jake, and I was just allowing it. So now we're fake calling some people Jake. And then I remembered this was a joke. But there's basically, if you love a man, I don't know what his name is, and I never will. Is what
It's
I'm here to
great.
say.
You
Do you
open this
relate to
by
this?
saying, "Do you relate?" Yeah.
Do you relate? Are all of your
I
friends,
I don't
boyfriends,
relate. I actually
Jake,
don't
John,
relate.
Josh, Jonah? Okay.
But I guess maybe if I think about it harder,
Okay.
I
Yeah, of course.
have
I'm assumed you're thinking about this.
I'm thinking about this real hard. I don't relate to this, but I my closest friends are a mix of like some are in relationships with men, some are in relationships with women, some are single. I don't have a group of friends that like all of
Okay.
us have boyfriends really. And
Okay.
so maybe that's part of it. Like there's just not as many
Yeah.
names, male names to list as what you're describing.
I think the women are easier to remember too because the men are just always like nebulous and like without a form. Like they never have a body to them. It's just like, oh, I can't because I'm going with Juice this weekend. Oh, I can't. Juice and I are doing that. Oh, that's Juice's grandmother. Like, oh, we're off to see Juice's aunt. And it's like they never have a physical presence in my life. It's just like I have to remember names.
Okay.
But the women I'm seeing, if they're dating a woman, I feel like I get to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't relate to this, but I think it's very funny. I mean, all the J names and then the three Ryans. Like,
Oh
I
my
don't know how
gosh.
anyone would be expected to keep that straight. So I think you've
Yeah.
been given this is your cross to bear. I think you've been given this difficult setup and
Oh,
you're
this is
doing
what
your
they talk
best.
about. A
This is what
burden.
they
This is
talk
my
about.
burden. This is what they talk about.
This is your growth. This is the beginning of your growth path and
Yeah.
journey, I
Okay, thank
think.
you. I am I trying to grow through it?
I mean, also you could just call them all J, which like
Yeah.
I feel like guys kind of
Oh
like it
shit.
if
I
you
think you're
just
right.
call them by their first letter. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're kind of like she's cool and tight and like we might go play basketball
Oh,
later." She calls me
100%. That's
Jay.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call them all J.
Yeah,
That is
I
actually a
think that's
great.
correct.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, I have yet another complaint. Is that okay?
Yeah, this is the very last one. It has to be the last one.
No, it's not. You can't cut me
No,
off.
there's gonna be
No.
more, but just keep going. I want to hear it.
Well, here's my complaint is why in the year 2024, year of our Lord, is it still so difficult to find and book a doctor's appointment when you want one. Why?
There's no good answer. The only answer is I think we have something that kind of works.
Oh my God, is this a segue?
No, ZocDoc actually is something that both of us have used for years on and off. And every time I've used it, I've had good experiences with the doctors, with the app interaction itself. It just makes it so easy to find doctors that are in your area and you can book appointments in the app instantly. I've been able to get appointments like same day, next day. I never have to wait very long when I use ZocDoc.
Yeah, it's the best. I will say also, on the opposite side of things, my dad is a doctor. All of my dad's doctor colleagues use this to represent their business and book their patients on ZocDoc. Like,
oh, that's dope.
So if you're being like, are these fake doctors? Are they small doctors? Are they bad It's like, it's top doctors.
Caroline's been to Christmas parties with them. They
Yes.
are real people.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. Can endorse. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality. As I said, I've been to their Christmas parties. In-network doctors. You choose the right one for your needs, and you can instantly book an appointment. You can usually get one within 24 to 72 hours of booking. Sometimes you can even get a same-day appointment. It's crazy. I'm talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty: mental health, dental health, eye, skin, butt health, all of it. All of them,
I was
they're
hoping
there.
you'd say butt.
You knew I was.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/not for everyone. That's fully spelled out, not FOR everyone, to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/not for everyone. ZocDoc.com/not for everyone.
So people have been emailing us their what-to-dos. If you want to do that, if it's like a long one, you might want to email it, or if you get blocked somehow on Instagram, if it doesn't let you send messages, we prefer what-to-dos through Instagram DMs. That's not for everyone pod with the number 4. But you can also email us at notforeveryonepod@gmail, and that's with the number 4 as well. So somebody wrote in, help. How do I respond when my friend rants about her husband to me? And she gave a lot of context, but I'm going to read the context. So bear with me for a second. My husband and I have a couple that we do everything with. We host each other all the time. We are close with each other's families. The husbands are old friends, and the other wife and I met as girlfriends years ago. It took a while to click, but now she's essentially my best friend. As soon as we became close, she started coming to me to rant about her husband occasionally, which was fine. But in recent months, it has escalated. At least once a week, I get a text of several paragraphs about how he's treating her. By now, I know them both very well, and I can easily believe what she's saying. He's an overgrown, spoiled child who yells at her in public, acts annoyed by her presence to look cool in front of other men, makes derogatory jokes towards her, etc. From what she tells me, things are even worse at home. She isn't without her flaws, but in no way does she deserve this behavior. And side note, no one's without their flaws. And that, there's no relationship where nobody's ever done anything wrong or annoying or frustrating. Like, it just doesn't,
it's an irrelevant statement, honestly.
Yeah, it's an irrelevant statement. Totally.
We know.
Cool. I don't know how to respond, and my heart rate spikes whenever she texts me. I can't relate. My husband is an angel in comparison. I don't want to encourage her to get a divorce because that's not my place and it wouldn't happen anyways. I don't want to insult him because that's not helpful. And we all 4 hang out a lot, and it would feel two-faced to be nice to him while I'm talking shit behind his back. I don't have any good advice besides telling her to talk to him about it. I just end up saying a lot of, I'm sorry, and that's not okay for him to talk to you like that, and he should appreciate having such an amazing wife, things like that. I want to be someone she can go to about these things, and I love her dearly, but I just don't know what to say or how to help her. What to do? You guys always have such great insight. I never miss an episode.
Thank you for that. This is a great what to do. And
yeah,
very
I think it's
difficult.
a juicy, complicated one.
Yeah. And I feel like we've gotten these types of messages before. People concerned about a relationship that their friend is in. And like the more that you know and learn about that relationship and that maybe toxic partner, the more you're like, you feel a responsibility to your friend to do something. But what is that thing? Because you also want to take care of yourself and like your own well-being and mental health and boundaries. And like respect that it's not your relationship. I don't I don't it's hard. I don't
Yeah.
even know.
It's really hard. When I first read the first sentence of the What to Do, it was like how to respond when a friend talks shit about their husband. I assumed it was the friend like emotional dumping in like an
In an
unfair
immature way.
way, in an immature way where it leaves the listener feeling like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? But yeah, the fact that the What to Do is very different, where it's like she is concerned about the complaints. They are valid complaints, and she doesn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, is interesting to me. I guess what feels complicated is that I think something that ends up feeling difficult to me with anyone who's complaining, even with a legitimate complaint, is okay, so we agree it's a 100% legitimate complaint, but after a while, if there is no interest in action or no interest in a change, um, it gets really hard as the listener. It gets really hard to know exactly what she said. How am I supposed to show up? Like, because I think what's missing is like, I actually don't even know what you want from me at this point.
Yeah.
I've told you that I see this behavior as well. I have the same judgments and feelings about it. I've told you how I feel about it to some degree and what I think you deserve and don't deserve. But when the complaint continues, even a legitimate complaint like this person is experiencing abusive behavior long term, um, I think it just gets really hard when the person complaining, it's just complaints and there's no action or no change or nothing they're trying. I think personally, like, and there's rightfully a lot of compassion for her friend, but I think what I would end up doing at a certain point is kind of, I think being more honest about the things she wrote to us and kind of doing that thing of being like, hey, I care about this. It makes my heart race to hear about it. It makes my heart break. I feel all these conflicting things because in some way I love your husband, he's our friend, and I love you, and I don't want you to have to put up with this. I don't know what's appropriate for me to say. I don't actually know what is helpful for me to do here, and I'm not clear on like what do you want? I'm not sure what you want. I'm not even sure
Hmm.
if you want to change or if as difficult as the situation is that you're kind of comfortable in the status quo and you're just looking for a place to vent. I'm not sure if you are looking for actionable things to do, like seeing a counselor or words you can say to your husband or boundaries you can set or like space you can get for yourself. Like, I'm not sure if you're looking for actionable steps. I'm not sure if you're looking for advice. I'm not sure if you're just looking to kind of blow off steam. And and so I'm really not sure what is appropriate for me to do. And I think also highlighting like the emotional effect it's having on you. And it doesn't have to be like in a scolding, guilt tripping way, but she may not know that like this is having a big effect on you. And it doesn't have to be like you don't have to punish her over that, but it may be something because you're friends. And I think it's appropriate to know like this really concerns me and I love you and I care about your husband and I care about our friendships. And so I don't really know what I'm supposed to do here. Can you understand why that's like confusing? So you tell me, what do you think?
Yeah.
How is this supposed to look? I think I would kind of probably start by just saying like exactly what is true, which is like the confusion and the discomfort and the not knowing.
Yeah, I think that's often the right place to start in these difficult situations because I don't know why there's a tendency amongst humans, like I realize this about myself all the time. There's a tendency to not just say that true thing. Like you're stumped,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do in a situation. And instead of just telling your friend, I'm stumped, I don't know what to do, you think it's your job to go figure out what to do and then come
Yeah,
back with that approach. And
totally.
oftentimes it's a lot more helpful for everyone involved for you to just say the true thing, exactly what Caroline's saying. Like, I don't know what to do. I care about you. what are you coming to me for? Like, can you help me figure out? And your friend might not really know either, but at least letting her in on the fact that like you care and you feel like this is a situation that rises to the level of like you want to do something and you just don't know what that thing is that would make your friend feel the most supported. I think that she would appreciate that. She would feel supported by that sentiment alone. And she might not be able to say to you, like, I want you to tell me what to do, or I just want to vent, or she might not be able to like clearly answer the question, but I think you're supporting her by asking the question in and of itself.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, I just think we all have a tendency not to like to steer away from doing it that way and just think that
Yeah.
we need to have the answer. And
To
I
take on the
would
problem
advise
for
against
them.
it.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
right.
what it really sounds like to me, thinking about all that too, is like there's no way this friend is seeing a professional. Like
Yeah,
usually
agree.
when I've been in that situation as a friend where because this happens to all of us, where there's like a persistent problem, a persistent stress that we or a friend has, and so it's coming up all the time and the problem is not progressing, the solution is not progressing, and it's just like every time we talk, it's like this huge issue and it may be a super legitimate issue. Um, it's always because they don't have an appropriate place to take that stress and to take that problem solving. And as soon as that friend starts seeing a therapist, they get professional advice that's not entangled in the friendship
Yeah,
and isn't like it doesn't have a bias and like a personal investment. Like this is the wrong person to be talking to if it's at this level. Um, and then it also that problem usually stops showing up in the friendship as much because they have an appropriate place to talk about it. I
put
would
it.
definitely actually say to your friend, like, kind of reflecting back to them, because I think it's also easy to end up in that position where you don't even realize that this is like, you don't realize how much you're complaining about this. You
Hmm.
don't realize it. And kind of just like reflecting back to them. And I've had to do this I've had to do this with people very close to me before, even family members, of being like, I think just pausing to be like, hey, you seem really upset about this every week, every time I talk to you for the last 10 months. This seems to be the forefront of your mind and a consistent stressor and a consistent source of pain for, every week or the majority of our conversation or whatever. Like, I think a lot of times people don't even realize how much it is coloring everything. And I think it's really fair to say, I understand why this is a stressor. I understand why this is painful and it's inappropriate. And I think you need a professional to support you because I'm not that person. And honestly, I sometimes don't know what I'm supposed to say because of all those complicated factors. And I think you deserve to have someone who can weigh in. If you are genuinely looking to experience a change, then I really support you in finding professional help. And of course, I'm still going to be your friend and we can still talk, but like you need and deserve more help than this. And on the other hand, if they are not looking to experience a change, that becomes a real point of frustration for me. Then I start to have real limits around how much I want to listen to this.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying it's such an emotional burden, but you're not willing to do something about it, but you are willing to put that emotional burden on me and I'm taking it to heart because I care about you and this is hard to hear about, then that's a problem for me. And then I need to set some real boundaries. That
And
has
it's
become
affecting the way that you can show up and hang out with
oh,
this
totally.
couple that you hang out with all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's starting to affect your day-to-day life. And so you do get to have boundaries with it and like feelings about whether or not you're willing to participate anymore.
I mean,
Totally.
I think it's kind of I think I have some feelings about talking that negatively about your partner almost to anyone other than a private therapist
Yeah.
for extensive amount of times. Like I think it can be healthy and probably should be normalized sharing the ins and outs, ups and downs, and difficulties of romantic relationships with our friends in a way that feels constructive and healthy and affirming and just like normal, because that is what a normal relationship is. There's good hard parts and easy parts. But when it's like this persistent gripe, um, you're really not doing, it's almost like you're not being responsible with it. If it's
Yeah.
a real gripe and a real problem, I think you need to take it to the right place.
I think the problem, I totally agree with you, but I think the problem is that sometimes people in that situation don't realize the difference and don't realize how serious of an issue and like the level to which this issue raises.
And how
Um,
it's affecting everybody.
right. And I
I think
think
they're kind of
almost like
offloading the stress.
yeah, and talking to a friend about it is also a way for them to like gauge like how bad is this? Like I can't tell. I'm in it and I
Yeah.
love this person and they're treating me this way. So how bad is it? Like I think it's not a very emotionally mature approach, but I do think
No.
that it is understandable. I can make sense of it.
Hmm.
Um because yeah, it just seems like if this person was emotionally mature enough to like kind of process this on her own and not lay it on her friends and whatever, she would probably already be seeking professional help or like
Yeah,
she would
yeah,
already be doing a lot of the things that we're suggesting. So I do think that it's appropriate as a friend to let her know that you don't know how to support her and that you think that this rises to the level
yeah,
where she should get that help because I think
yeah,
maybe by her talking to you about it, she's like wondering those things. And so if
yeah,
you can answer those questions for her, then maybe you're empowering her to like do that work and put it
yeah. I think
somewhere
that's good.
else. Um, but I also think there's a world in which, like you said, she doesn't want to do that, or she, for some reason, she can't access that help, or she doesn't
I would
just try
set
hard enough to access
I
that
would
help.
set some serious boundaries then. If
Yeah.
it's taking that kind of toll on you and she's not willing to take action, which happens a lot, I
Hmm.
would personally need to set some serious boundaries. And that's a whole different conversation because then she's just putting the emotional burden on you and saying, here, you carry it because I'm not willing to do anything about it.
And you can try. I mean, I have been in that position and I have been the friend to like carry it and suggest solutions and support when a friend has come to me with like really serious concerns and really serious examples of ways that their partner um has hurt them. I Of course, it always starts out as like they're venting and you're listening, but the longer it goes on, the more at least someone like me feels like, okay, we got to get things going here. We got to make a change. We got to do something. And if
Yeah.
the friend isn't going elsewhere to do those things, then like it is very easy to fall into that pattern and that like instinct and habit of like, oh, okay, then let me try to get you towards action. So while you can't take the action for them, like the way that it's shown up with me is I will ask questions that like maybe lead them in the direction that I think that they need to go. And then when they start to mention like maybe we do need to take a break or maybe we do need to like make some serious change in our relationship or something, I will be affirming of that and then I'll be supportive of that. And like I've literally been through this with a close friend and gone all the way and I never told this person what to do, but like I definitely was too closely involved and like
Hmm.
gave affirmation at those moments where I saw an opportunity to be like my friend needs a change and they're finally kind of realizing it, let me push them down the path and it turned out to like blow up in my face.
It always
And I'm
does.
not
It
saying
always
that it
does.
happens every time, but
I
yeah, I
think it
do think
usually
I've talked to a
does.
lot of
Yeah.
people about it and they have similar stories. Like, I thought I was doing what my friend needed. I thought I was being a good friend and supporting them. Um, and now we don't talk, but it was never my job and it was never something I was going to be able to do to get my friend out of it. And I would hold her accountable for putting me in that position, but I would also hold myself accountable for like taking the bait and thinking that I could make that difference for this person. Like I should have set those boundaries a lot earlier.
Yeah, it's a boundary thing. It's really hard. I've been there too. Um, I think I agree with what you said, suggesting like why you suggest basically professional help and making sure to say it in a way that's not the well, I don't like to deal with drama, so I'm opting out. Like, not my problem. That's not what I'm talking about. But saying it in a compassionate way that's like, I'm taking this really seriously. And if everything you said is true, you should be taking it really seriously. And
Hmm.
what taking it seriously looks like is talking to a professional. And maybe it would look like couples counseling, but I would start with just suggesting the friend goes to counseling on her own because you don't want to get involved in anything couple related. Like a
Yeah.
personal counselor can help her, and I think even she doesn't want to get involved in like dragging her husband to counseling. Like that's just too many steps removed.
Hmm.
That's for a professional to kind of wade through with her. And either she will appreciate that and take that seriously or she won't. And I would say more often people like don't take action. I think you and I, Jess, are both very like we are always moving on it.
Yeah.
And that's not a good or bad thing. Sometimes that leads me to hasty decisions. Sometimes it means I solve problems earlier, but it's just a neutral thing. It's the way I deal with stuff. And
Yeah.
when people don't cope in that same way, it makes me really frustrated because
Yep.
it's just so different. I get very frustrated, but I would say more people, especially when it's like an emotionally fraught relationship like that, people are understandably slow to make a big change. I was stuck in a difficult thing for a long time. It's really hard to make a change. And if they're not interested in trying things, taking action, making changes, I would definitely start setting a boundary. And it could be as simple as like, everything you're describing to me makes me incredibly sad for you. It makes me so sad that like it is coloring my day and it's coloring our friendship and it's actually coloring our four-way friendship as well because I don't know if I'm all at once asked to take um these abuses of your husband seriously and also show up for game night and
Hmm.
like be chill with him. Like it's if you're thinking this won't affect our like four-way friendship, it is. It immediately is. And I care about you and I truly don't know what to do. So either like these concerns are serious enough that you're going to respect yourself and love yourself and, you know, take care of your relationship to find external help or you're telling me they're not serious enough and it's something you can deal with and then I need you to know that like just texting about it all the time is a has a huge effect on me and is having a huge effect on our friendship that neither of us want. So I need to have less of that basically.
Hmm. Word.
It's
I
tough,
totally
dog.
agree. It's really tough. And I'm like already imagining the ways that this friend could take that the wrong way, feel guilt and shame and just like
Well,
start to bottle things up. But I mean, that's their problem at the end of the day. But it is
totally.
a hard thing when you're like put in this position to set your boundary and say, like, hey, this is affecting me. I want to support you. Like, you can say it with love and from a supportive place. And I know that the listener would mean it. Um, you know, she wouldn't have written in about this if she didn't care, but she also wouldn't have written in about it if it wasn't like affecting her. So
Yeah.
you are within your right to show up in that way. And I'm already anticipating from the friend, like, how it could not go to plan. But that's
Well,
life. I don't know.
the there can't really be a plan. I think that what you're
Yeah,
talking about and what I think is paralyzing the listener who wrote in is trying to find a way
to do it
where
all.
what's the thing I can do and say that will have no effect, no negative effect on this.
Yeah.
But it's going to have an effect. It is
Yeah.
unfortunately it's already had an effect. It's had an effect on you, it's had an effect on the group dynamic, it's had effect on the friend who's in this tough relationship. Um, and I think she's looking for like, what's the thing I can say that will contain the abuse, but also find a solution for it, but also not affect me and my friend, but also not affect the group dynamic, but
Yeah.
also help my friend in her relationship. And like, what's the thing I could say that won't change anything? And the unfortunate reality, the radical acceptance is that like, it's already been changed. This good thing we had, something has changed in the last couple of months that none of us chose. it's already been changed. It's already been altered. It's already different. And that's the piece of radical acceptance of like, this isn't the way I want things to be, but it's what's here. It's not what I want and it's not what I have chosen, but it is very much the reality. And it's not going to be ideal. And it
Hmm.
might actually get a little more uncomfortable in the meantime. But that like temporary short-term discomfort might mean that farther down the road, we all get to hang out in a better way. But I think that's the piece of radical acceptance of like, none of these options are options I like
Yeah.
because none of us would have chosen that this husband starts treating his wife that way. That it's just like step number one is already wrong. Step number one is something we would never have chosen, and that's the landscape we're dealing with. So it's not going to be basically like none of the solutions are going to be the thing we want, and that's a pretty common part of life.
Yeah. Yeah, very well said. Because I do think that's something that we all get trapped in is
Yeah,
like, how can I do it all? How can I
yeah,
take care of myself, but also take care of her, but also take care of him weirdly, but also do
yeah,
and also take care of the friend group and like,
yeah.
how can I just make it so that like I say what I need, but no one else is affected by it? And it's like, well,
It's an
that's not
illusion.
how it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not the one
that
who
can't happen.
started. You're not the one who started this behavior and started this problem for everybody.
Right. And you're
Like
being
it's
affected
been
by that.
altered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, don't
Best of
love it,
luck.
but love
Let
our
us know. Love
advice.
it. Love
Love
this.
it. Good luck. Let me see if I have like
Yeah,
a
thanks for writing in.
funny ditty to bring
I
us
have,
home.
yeah. If not, I can talk about my Botox.
Oh, yeah, do that.
Do
I
you want
want to
that?
hear about that.
Okay. Okay. Jess told me she wants me to tell you about what I did 2 days ago. So I texted you, Jess.
She texted
Okay.
me, and it's
I
a big
texted
update.
you.
I think it's something everyone here is fully vested in, and it would be disrespectful if you
Oh,
didn't share more with the
it would
class.
be disrespectful. Oh my God. So I shared a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple times I've shared in episodes that I have been really set on this idea of getting Botox in my feet. And that is it's for sweating. Like I have hyperhidrosis. It's a medical condition. My brother has it too. He has it worse because it's his feet and his hands. Like anytime you touch his hands,
Mm,
they're soaking wet. And that really sucks because it's pretty gross, but people don't have to like touch my feet that much. Um, the reason it sucks for me is because I sweat the most in the winter when I'm cold. And so all day long, I'm walking around in soaking wet socks. Like they're soaking wet. And then I'm freezing. Like if you're imagine walking around in wet socks all winter, I'm freezing the fuck cold all winter long. So my solutions so far have been foot powder doesn't do it. It's not
hmm.
enough. My solutions have been either I just bring two or three extra socks in my bag and like I'm constantly changing socks all day long if I have to go out, or I put sanitary pads in my socks, or like I've done it all. And let's be honest, all the solutions are pretty gross and nobody likes hearing about this.
Can I
And
ask
I'm
a
still cold
tangential
all winter.
question that I've
Of
never thought to
course.
ask you before about
Of
this
course. Yes.
condition? Does it ruin a lot of your shoes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking it seriously.
Now you're taking it seriously. So I'm physically fucking freezing all winter long. And all of my socks are wet. I feel gross about it, whatever. I'm over it. It's also survivable. Like people have lots of issues, and this is not one of the worst ones. But once I learned that people get Botox for sweating, it does whatever the fuck it does. It like will people get Botox in their armpits, in their hands, also in their feet, I assumed. I was like, okay, sweet. I love Botox. I'm set for my like once yearly Botox appointment coming up. I'm gonna ask them about doing Botox in my feet. I'm extremely ticklish on my feet. Like I have um signed Justin to an agreement that he is never allowed to tickle me. He's never once tickled me because like I don't find it funny. I don't it's not cute. It's
It's
just
terrible.
torture. It's
Yeah.
terrible. I actually did tell him that he had one 6 month window where he could tickle me one time at a time of his choosing. He has not used it yet. I think.
That's tough.
And
Has
it
the
has
six
to be a
it's we're
short.
still in the 6 months.
I don't even know if we are. I might give him an extension.
He listens to the
I don't know.
podcast. He's gonna
Yeah,
you're reminding him as we
I'm
speak.
reminding him. I want him to be happy, but I also don't want to be in pain. But it can't be an extensive, like, no longer than like 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
sure.
just get angry. Like, I'll get violent. If you're tickling me
Oh,
for an
true.
extended amount of time, like, I will take your eyes out. I don't like it.
Tickling goes from fun to the worst thing that's ever happened in the blink of an eye. Like it can go left so quickly.
Why is it
I
so bad?
It's just, yeah,
Fingers on my
it's
tummy.
triggering.
It's torture. Fingers on my tummy. So, yes, very ticklish, but Botox, I've had it before and it doesn't fucking hurt. Literally, they don't even numb your face. And I've done things like microneedling, which are super painful, like waxing, lasering. Those all hurt 10 times more than Botox. So I wasn't really worried about it. They literally, like, sometimes I don't even feel the Botox needle going in your face. You don't even know it's happening. So, not worried. So went and had my Botox appointment the other day, showed up and I was sheepishly like, yeah, I want to do my 11s, my eyebrows, and also like I do have a sweating problem and I wonder if you'll do feet. And this lady was like, "Oh yeah, like we do that. You know, usually it's armpits or hands, but we can do feet. We've done feet. I do want to let you know it gets a little expensive because of how much Botox is required to like take care of your whole foot, and it gets a little spicy." And
Ooh,
spicy is the word they always say at these med spas because they won't
yeah,
tell you it's painful. They say
yeah.
spicy, like it stings. And I was like, that's okay. You've told me things are spicy before, and I hate that word. And like it's never bothered me. And the price was expensive. You need like 100 units of Botox per
Wow.
foot, and the price is always per unit.
Can you give
So
us context on like how many units are typical in
like
your
in
forehead?
my whole forehead is 50 units.
Okay.
So this was going to be like 200 units for, what, and I was like, that is a lot. Like, that's too much money. And she was like, well, we could cut it in half, which just means that like it'll still work, but it's not gonna last nearly as long. And I was like,
Okay.
honestly, let's do that. I only need it to last for a few months in the winter. Basically, I was like, at every turn, she was telling me not to do this. She was like, it's gonna hurt. And I was like, I don't care. You're wrong. She was like, it's gonna be expensive. And I was like, I don't care. I'm set on it. We're doing it. Like, this is what I talked about, my like problem with taking action. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, once I get set on an
Once you
idea, I'm
decide,
fucking doing it.
I'm the same way.
And I was like, you know
Decisive
what?
to a
Yes,
fault.
to a fault. I'm doing
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just doing shit out here. And I was like I was prepared. I'm emotionally, mentally, glandularly prepared to do this today. Let's just fucking do it. I'm doing it. She was trying to tell me to go to my dermatologist, maybe be covered by insurance. Like, she was giving me great options. She was
Hmm.
looking out for me,
She was
and
doing a good job
she
at
was
her
doing a
work.
great job, and I was beating her down every step of the way. I was like, we are putting this Botox in my fucking foot today.
Today.
Today. So she put this like intense numbing cream on me, which they don't even do for your face. She didn't put any on my face because it doesn't hurt. She put it on my feet. I was like, whatever, the skin is so thick down there. Just give me the Botox. She left me for like 15 minutes to numb. Came back in and was like, okay, here we go. La la la. It has like 10 syringes of Botox on her tray, picks up one. She's like, "Are your feet numb?" And I was like, "I mean, no, not really, but I don't know what level of numbness. I'm not looking, it's not like anesthesia. It's not like I shouldn't be able to move my foot. Like, I don't think it's that numb, but that's probably all it's going to be. Whatever, just do it." She pokes me with the first Botox, and it was like a sword going through my entire foot and coming out
Oh
the other end.
my
I have
fucking God.
I have never felt anything of all the things I've done in a med spa before. I've done procedures like microneedling, hurts so bad. Often they will give you laughing gas, like anesthesia, numbing cream. I have never felt anything so painful. I was so
Did you
mad.
scream?
I screamed and I was like, That's it. We're not doing anymore. We're not
Yeah.
doing, I'll pay for that syringe. I cannot do that one more time."
Wow.
I was so upset, and she was like, "It's a little spicy,
Oh
isn't
no,
it?" And
stop.
I was so mad at this point. Like, she took the needle out and I
Punching.
could still feel it. Like, I'd been stabbed, and I was like, it wasn't spicy. It was a needle all the way through my foot. No, it was not
Hmm.
spicy, and you probably need to stop using that word to describe it to people.
Right.
I was so upset. Um,
Wow.
so she ended up like you can't just like share needles. So like that one, obviously
Right.
we'd already used. She was like, okay, well, I'll just put the rest of this one, somewhere else. And she like she did like a something that strains in your neck. Like I can't strain my neck all the way now. She was just like, let's just find somewhere to put it. Put it in
Oh,
my neck, no numbing cream, didn't feel it at all, whatever.
whoa.
And and I was like, is it because it goes so much deeper into your foot? Because like the skin, she was like,
Because the
nope,
skin is thick.
it's as superficial as it is in your face. It's just that you have so many fucking nerves on your hands and feet. It's why you're so
Yeah.
ticklish. It's just so much more sensitive, which I didn't think
Wow.
about. And anyway, so the good news is I saved all that money and didn't have to pay for the rest of the syringes. And the hilarious news is that this scheme I've had for months now culminated with me walking away with one single unit of Botox in my toe. So I just have a single unit of Botox in my toe.
It'll be interesting to see if that toe is like less of a sweater than the rest of them from now on.
Here, I
Is
know.
there
I'll
a
show it to you. Can I show? There's
you're
one little mark.
I've warned you about showing your feet for free, but go on. Go on.
I hid my self view. How do I show myself? Show self view.
Oh, okay.
I have one.
That little prick.
That's my little Botox.
Wow. This is a great story. I mean, thank you for doing the research so that no
Uh,
one else has to suffer like
that was
this.
absolutely intolerable. I think A, it's probably too expensive to really maintain.
Right.
Even if I was a billionaire though, the only way I would do that would be with full anesthesia.
Yeah, you have to be out. That's insane. Like
It was,
surgery level anesthesia.
yeah, maybe not general anesthesia, but like I shouldn't be able to move my foot at all. It
Yeah.
was so horrible. And I was so unreasonably mad at this woman for describing it as spicy.
You know what though? Okay, the thing about yes, okay, first of all, the spicy thing is really annoying. Spicy means like a little tingly to me. If it's
And
anything
there
more than
are,
that, you
yeah,
have to warn me more severely.
yeah,
I was about
yeah.
to sign up for a yoga class. I just moved and so I was looking at yoga studios that are more in this neighborhood and I was scrolling through the listing at this one studio and one of their classes is called like yoga beginner level spicy. And I was like, I think this is their way of saying that it's beginner, but it's hard. So I'm not going to sign up for this one. But I just think
Oh,
they're
okay.
overusing the word spicy to say that things are hard or painful.
Yes, I don't know why it's women. It's never dudes who are saying like, "Oh, paintballing is a little spicy." No, it's just
Yeah.
fucking women
Yeah.
who are like afraid of telling you that something hurts. Like if it is spicy, tell me it's spicy. But
Tell
if it's a
me.
fucking samurai sword through my foot, now
I
I
need to
don't
know that
trust you.
information.
Now
Yeah.
I don't trust you with anything. And I had
Yeah.
to pay for this syringe and I can't do the rest of it.
The other thing is
Yeah.
like, I just think in general, women, I think this is like a proven thing. I don't know. Women have higher pain tolerances. I mean, a woman's body is created to give birth. And so, with that alone, it's like we can handle a lot. And I also think in medicine, there's a tendency to like downplay the pain of
Women's pain. Oh, it's a huge
women's
thing.
health,
It's a
yeah,
huge thing.
things.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. Like, I just got my IUD replaced a month or two ago. I've had an
Oh
IUD
my
as my
God.
main form of birth control
Was
for
it
5 years.
horrible?
I am weirdly okay. I've been told that my
Okay.
my the doctor that did it told me that like my canal is like very straight, so it's easier to insert
Oh, mine is really
in me.
crooked.
Yeah, a lot of
Mine is
people it's
very
like
crooked.
it's crooked or misaligned or whatever, and that's what causes more of the
Oh,
pain.
shit.
So for me, it actually wasn't that bad, but I was talking to my
Oh,
friend
her
about it who lives in
canal.
the UK,
She's such a
and
straight
she was saying
canal.
that there it's like standard to numb the area and give like local anesthesia to women
Fucking
getting their
excuse
IUD
me.
replacement. Here,
Literally
it's not
fucking
a thing.
excuse me. I'm
Yeah,
so upset.
there's been articles about this recently, actually.
Fucking
Anyway, so I
why?
feel like that's a microcosm of this larger thing that like women's pain in healthcare is not really taken that seriously.
Yeah, it's not
And they
believed a lot
downplay
of the
it by
time.
saying things are spicy. And especially in America, I think that it's a thing in America because the other thing I thought of while you were talking is there's this thing, I guess like Turkey, the country Turkey is like notorious for being a place that people go for
Plastic
um
surgery.
plastic surgery and like
Yeah.
cosmetic surgery and stuff. And so between knowing that information and then knowing what I know about IUD placement in the UK versus here, I was like, I bet if Caroline went to Turkey to get this foot Botox, it would be a totally different story. Like, I just think in America, they don't want to give you, they don't want to set you up for success and they don't want to prepare you for the pain. And I feel
Lol.
like this is probably a procedure that happens elsewhere comfortably because the healthcare system isn't so fucked up.
I mean, I don't want to feel so bad for myself trying to get Botox in my foot. It's
Fair
not,
enough, but
I don't want to put it on the same level as these other
it's a
things, but I
smaller
take your
example
point.
of a larger problem, I
I mean,
think.
I don't know. I would be curious to know if women's medical experiences are treated with more gravity in other countries because not
Yeah, maybe
I
not.
America is not isn't the very top of the list in terms of international misogyny. There's some others, a lot of
Yeah,
others
true
that
that.
top it.
Of course,
But
of course.
yeah,
But
but
our
I'm
healthcare
not
system is there was like an article that just came
yeah.
out about how our healthcare system is like the worst of Western
Yeah.
civilizations, of like modern Western countries. From
I
a
really get
spending
mad about it.
standpoint, we've
Yeah.
always been really bad, but we are now officially at the bottom of that list. Um, and then yeah, and it's like if there's so much spend happening and yet people are still having such negative experiences, whereas you hear anecdotes from other Western countries of like pretty easy experiences that are more affordable. It's just whatever. This is a much bigger issue, obviously,
I
and it's
know.
like the reason I work in healthcare. But um, I am making the foot Botox about that because that is where I'm at with
Yeah.
our healthcare system today. I've had many bad healthcare experiences in the last couple months, and I'm just kind of like
Mm,
fed up with the whole thing. I had a
I'm
terrible
angry. I'm angry with
experience
you
with my
too.
dermatologist, and I had been going to him for years. I had written him a good review on Google like a year ago because he asked me to. And then I had
Oh,
a
and then he was like an
horrible,
ass,
horrible
right?
experience with him. Yeah, he was an
Yeah.
ass.
He was a real
And I went and
ass.
updated, I did a variety of things to try to like get justice. And one
Yeah.
of the things that I did was go and change my Google review and be like, changing my review. I've been coming here for years, but this is what just happened. I changed it from 5 star to 1 star. I'm not going back to him. I found a new dermatologist, and I have gotten so many likes on my Google review about this
Wow.
guy. Like,
Wow.
it is just kind of wild. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, like, he has pretty good ratings and, he gets plenty of patients, and it's
That's probably
just
why he decided he can afford to treat people horribly when he feels like
right,
it. It's
right.
horrible.
I just get a notification like once a day that's like, you got another like on your Google
Liked your
review.
Google review. That's a
Yeah,
funny, hilarious
of
piece of
this asshole.
validation.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
exactly.
justice.
Exactly. All right. Well, I need to go to work now. So this has been not for everyone. And we are here every week on Thursdays. Thanks for being here too. What should we ask them to do, Caroline? What do we
I think
need from them this
follow.
week?
We need follows on Spotify so you won't miss an episode, and it really helps us out more than you can possibly imagine. Small thing,
Yeah,
it's free to do. Just follow us and you'll get all our apps.
I love that. I love it. Thanks for being a friend to Caroline, but also to all of you.
Oh, I thought you were saying they were being a friend to me. And I was like, are they just a friend to me?
Oh, thanks for being Caroline's friend. Thank
Thanks
you,
for being Caroline's
listeners. She
friend.
really needs it.
I do. Wow. It's like the mom pimping out her child for like paid play dates because no one will hang out with her.
She's not going to remember your partner's name, but she is going to yell at
No.
you.
Stop naming all your partners Josh. Stop naming them all Josh.
Bye, Josh.
Okay. Love you. Love you, Josh.
Love you, Josh.